Let's give it up for all of these guys and all the other filmmakers that made this block possible. All right, I want to hear, by the end of the weekend, let me know which film and short film you guys like the most. Because we want to do an audience award at some point. So, yeah. All right. Well, nice to meet you. Literally.
Hello! I don't actually talk like that.
So you are the only film that we have in our lineup, as I said this morning, during our interview, that is a part of the 48-hour film project. She deserves a round of applause for being able just to do that. How many of you guys could make a movie, write it, score it, everything, edit it, 48 hours? This woman did it. I mean, she had a team, but she still did it. So same rules as last night. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and talk about the mental health of each of these movies, and then we're gonna turn it over to you guys to talk about the films. But yeah, so nice to meet you. Do you have any terrible Airbnb experiences?
The only Airbnbs I've ever been at were actually film sets. So there was one that we shot at in DC that was a little scary, but not quite like that. So.
All right. Well, let's just pass this along. I don't know how far down this thing goes. So, Jordan was actually our first submission period. So it was really cool to have him chosen here. You shot this in a Second and Charles.
Yeah, dude. So the Second and Charles I work at, they actually make a horror short film every year. So before I started working there, they were already doing it. But this was the first one I got to write and direct. So I got to act in the last two. But yeah, this one we actually had more time than the other ones, because the one before that, it took us probably like a week, like the week before we were supposed to come out. But yeah, this was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, just also so you guys know, he used to have really long hair. And if you guys know
sit on it.
Second and Charles, you can like write like theme songs or like your like names. You were what? You were Thor, right?
Discount Thor.
Discount Thor. And then Derek, he is the writer-director of Bailout. And one of the things that I really admire about yours is kind of like the importance of like searching for identity, kind of understanding like who you are as an individual. Can you kind of talk about the mental health journey of mapping out these characters?
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't really necessarily like a mental health journey from my perspective, but for any millennials out there, I'm kind of what people would consider like the end of the millennials. I was born in '82, so some people consider me the last year of millennials or the first year, depending on how you draw the timeline. But we've been screwed over pretty much,
You're
from the financial collapse and ever since then. So that's kind of the origin of Bailout. Like, they keep talking about Bailout. Like, these motherfuckers are letting bail out and they're screwing us all over. These demonic bastards are doing all this weird shit and just printing all their money out for all their buddies. And meanwhile, we just get left with the repercussions of the fuckery.
Yeah, it kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it wasn't like, woe is me. It was like, we're all kind of in this, sinking ship together, except for the rich guys floating away in their ships. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's, it's been kind of simmering for some time now, but the time seemed right to do it this past year.
I think out of all three of you guys, you are kind of like the most primed for like a feature extended version of Bailout. Is there any plans of that?
So there is another micro short that kind of has Jessica Felice in it, and her character is kind of loosely tied to Bailout. I would like to make kind of a prequel to that, Succubi Scry, and do kind of like an anthology thing to make it more of a longer form narrative, but not necessarily a feature per se at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, there was how many of you guys were here for, I think it was Crime-Exploitation last year. They did an anthology film called Once a Mother Mother Goose Presents Once Upon a Nightmare.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of a little bit of what you're talking about. But I want to turn it over to you guys. Do you guys have any questions for these three people?
For bailout, how many puns did you go through before settling on the package that been delivered?
Not many, really. It kind of just came naturally. You know, there was something before that, and I was like, oh, this is a missed opportunity, and just scratched it. So I think it was only the second rewrite. But yeah, that would have been a good concept just to have that gone through a couple times just for like an outtakes purpose. Yeah, maybe a missed opportunity there.
Cool. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. And if you guys have any questions, you guys want to talk to them, I believe all three of you are here most of the day, right? Okay, so give it up for these lovely folks.